what am I talking about? What kinds of weapons do our children have? Now, I'm not talking about baseball bats and guns and knives. They're emotional weapons. And the idea for this came from a book. I have to admit, I only read part of it, but here it is. Oh, it's backwards. Raising Self-Reliant Children in a Self-Indulgent World. And it's an older book, but the concepts are all really relevant. So, what the author meant by weapons that our children use against us, he's really talking about our fears. As parents, we are guided by love and fear, and very often, love is a masquerade, it's a mask for the fear that we are feeling. So, what does that look like? The fears that we have are that our children are going to make mistakes, maybe irreparable ones. They'll get into difficult relationships. They will self-harm in some way. They won't achieve the way we hope that they would. And what are the weapons that they have against us? Well, our fears are for exactly those things. We are afraid of the self-harm, the substance abuse, the cutting, the eating disorders, the poor decision making, the risky decisions that they make. We are afraid of all the things that can go wrong. And when we are thinking those thoughts about what terrifies us when they start veering off that straight and narrow road that we had envisioned for them, we are terrified. And that becomes our motive for taking control or attempting to take control. And the reality is that, especially when they're teenagers, we really don't have control over them anymore. So we are fighting a losing battle. And what happens when we continue to try taking control is that we drive our children away from us. And when we drive them away from us, they feel isolated, distanced. They feel they can't trust us. And what happens then? Then some of those risky behaviors may begin. So this idea of control, which I talk about many times, plays into the fears that we have that our children may not flourish and thrive. And what happens when we take control is that we end up getting more of the behaviors that scare us. Can you see that progression? So those are just my few words of wisdom this morning. If you get a chance and you want to look at this book, Raising Self-Reliant Children in a Self-Indulgent World, please go ahead, take a look. The principles are still valid even 30 years later. Okay? Have a great day. I would love for you to leave comments. And if something about this really hit home for you, you can leave a comment, you can DM me, and we can puzzle through it together. All right? Have your best day. Bye.